recently, in the past 10 years, higher education came under scrutiny. There are many pundits that claim that the youth should not go and pursue a higher degree in academia, but they should actually just start their own business, just be entrepreneurs. However, data, and this is what I'm going to show you in this video, prove exactly the opposite. What data tell us is that entrepreneurs that succeed in their ventures are generally people with experience and are people with degrees. And so this lets us wonder, how many myths are there about entrepreneurship? And I think that there are many common myths about entrepreneurship. There is a certain bias or uninformed news about entrepreneurship and startups. Some question for discussion. Should all entrepreneurs be college dropouts? Should we all be like Mark Zuckerberg? Or does the ideal entrepreneur exist? And then one more, and also for this, I'll show you at the end of this video. I'll give you the answer at the end of this video. Is opening a chiringuito bar on a tropical island a startup? Can this be defined as a startup? So let's start digging into this common bias about entrepreneurship. So the first myth about entrepreneurship is that entrepreneurs are born, not made. And why this myth became so common, so popular? Because people are chasing the ideal entrepreneur. People are looking at Bill Gates, Elon Musk, and they say, oh, this is the ideal entrepreneur. And how can you be Elon Musk? How can you be fast, bold, aggressive, sharp as Elon Musk? It's obviously a very, very high bar. And if what we need to do to become an entrepreneur is to be exactly like him, so, well, in that case, probably there will be only 10 entrepreneurs over more than 7 billion people worldwide. Studies show the opposite. So that people are not born to be entrepreneur. So there are many factors, many elements that contribute to people to become entrepreneur, from the environment, from societal propension to entrepreneurship, life experiences, personal choices, and then I want to stress this one more time, entrepreneurial thought and action. People that practice their entrepreneurial behavior, then they are likely to become more entrepreneurs. One of the early theory of entrepreneurship focused on the traits, the characteristic of entrepreneurs. So we can still refer to this as a list of examples of characteristic of entrepreneurs. But then again, the really important thing is the thought and action, the way entrepreneurs think and the way entrepreneurs behave. However, what we learn from these studies about characteristics of entrepreneurs is quite insightful in the sense that helps us debunk the myth number one about entrepreneurship. So, for example, we see that entrepreneurs are motivated by the achievement, are able to network, to marshmallow resources, are able to promote their business, are able to assemble resources together. So all these characteristics tell us that actually it's not about people being born entrepreneurs, but people learning how to master these characteristics. So everyone can achieve this. The second myth about entrepreneurship is about gambling. So there are people saying, oh, entrepreneurs are gamblers because they take risk. But again, the truth is exactly the opposite. Entrepreneurs are not gamblers. Entrepreneurs are actually moderate risk takers. Entrepreneurs know how to manage the risk and also how to manage failure, which we are going to see in a different video. Why people think that entrepreneurs are gamblers? This is because of the entrepreneur's mindset. We know that entrepreneurship is about exploring. We know that entrepreneurship is about taking actions as a way to learn. But the reason why entrepreneurs do this, it's because they navigate in a very ambiguous environment, in a very nascent marketplace. When you're bringing a new technology to the market, and maybe there is not even one competitor, and there is no success case before your company. So obviously in that case, you really need to be able to navigate all this uncertainty. Ambiguity is familiar to entrepreneurs, but for majority of people, ambiguity is a concern. Ambiguity is a threat, and thereby they believe entrepreneurs are gamblers. Also, entrepreneurs are generally very achievement-oriented, and so they will show high resilience and they will not get discouraged easily. But again, this is not about being a gambler. It's only about being able to manage the risk and being able to navigate ambiguity. The third myth is about the motivation of entrepreneurs. That entrepreneurs are motivated by profits. So obviously, profit is part of a game. It's one of the objectives for entrepreneurs to set up a business, but it's not the only one. We have seen also that social entrepreneurship is still chasing profit, still chasing money. However, it does so in pursuit also of benefits for society. So money, yes, are part of a picture, but it's not the most important goal for entrepreneurs. And then the myth number 4, and this is the myth about the age. This is the myth of entrepreneurs being college dropout. This is the myth that entrepreneurs should be youth that don't go to the university and they actually open their own business. So what data show us is that there are entrepreneurs in every age range, from very young to middle-aged to old. It's obviously important to have energy, but it's not the only characteristic that investor will look at when investing in a startup. Investors will also value the experience, the maturity, reputation, and the track record of the entrepreneur. And as you can imagine, all these criteria often favor older entrepreneurs rather than younger entrepreneurs. The work history itself is important to see whether the entrepreneur will be able to succeed in his or her own startup. If you have experience in management, in product development, in leading teams, in sales and marketing, obviously all of these can help you develop to grow and develop a business. But let me give you a few more data. According to Harvard Business Review, these data relatively recently from 2018 and 2019, the age of startup founders we see that the average age of people who funded the highest growth startup is 45 years old. So it's not college dropout, it's not 20 years old or something. And also we see that older entrepreneurs are more likely to succeed. Here, this chart shows us the probability of extreme startup success that rises with age. And this is true until the late 50s. So when after the late 50s, so when people enter in their 60s, so then the probability of extreme startup success is going to drop. But before that, the more you get older, the more you are likely to have success as an entrepreneur. Then this does not mean that the youth should not pursue their entrepreneurial dream. So rather the opposite. So the more experience you accumulate in your entrepreneurial journey, the more you reflect during your entrepreneurial journey, the more you can learn, and then you can apply in your next venture to make it successful. So my point here, my encouragement here is that the youth should do entrepreneurship. We should do their own startup as a way to act, to take actions in order to explore the unknown. And then to reflect on this, to increase their own self-understanding. And the university is the perfect place to increase, improve your own self-understanding and to create a positive feedback loop with peers, with mentors, with industry partners, with professors. And all of this will contribute to the success, if not of your first venture, but most likely of your next or even the next venture. In conclusion, I would like to touch on the different types of startup companies. So as you remember, when I opened this video at the beginning, I mentioned whether a Chiringuito bar, but kind of like the small bar where you prepare some rum and gin on a beach and it's, you know, like under some trees and so on, the kind of a dream that many people have. So should we consider this as a type of startup? And here you can see 3 different types of startups. So one is a salary substitute firm. These are generally very small firms, maybe just like a self-employed or just like a small family. This type of startup, this type of business is more of a replacement of a job. When people get laid off or fired or they do not find a job, so one thing that they can do, they can create these salary substitute firms. So very small firms per se, so it's not a firm that will ever grow bigger, so it's just a small firm that is useful in the sense that will provide a salary to the owner. And then we have a second one, that is the lifestyle firm. And so this is where we can have our own Chiringuito on a tropical island. Lifestyle firm, so if you love tropical islands, you love going for scuba diving or surfing or whatever, and then you say, oh, how can I live this kind of dream life? Okay, you can open this Chiringuito, but it's not a startup, it's a lifestyle firm. And then we have a startup, the entrepreneurial firms. So as we know, in the very essence of entrepreneurship, we need to include this element of innovation. So an entrepreneurial firm is an innovative firm. The entrepreneurial firm is a firm that is seizing an opportunity and that at least has the potential to scale up the business on that very business opportunity. So our focus is only on this type of entrepreneurship, on this type of entrepreneurial firm. So to give you a final conclusion of this video, so first we analyze common bias about entrepreneurship, and we also prove that all the different bias about entrepreneurship are actually wrong because data studies show exactly the opposite. Keep in mind that entrepreneurial mindset and entrepreneurial behavior are the key to fully understand entrepreneurship and to unleash the entrepreneurial spirit to grow your own ventures. And finally, on the end of the video, we've also seen what are the characteristics of an entrepreneurial firm, and we also learned that opening a chiringuito in a tropical island in Thailand or in the Philippines or in Indonesia is more of a lifestyle firms, but it's not a startup. With that, thank you for listening, and I look forward to seeing you again in the next video. Bye! 60 minutes.